In Los Angeles, nothing to say here. I am a musician, an LGBTQIA icon, environmentalist, human rights activist, veteran with PTSD, proud owner of Mars Now the Space Agency, and Green Future Go Corporation, non-profit, there for the protection of mutants, werewolves, and vampires. Ugh, sorry, my nose is itchy. Mm, It's not fun. Smoothie break. Mm. Reusable, natural, biodegradable. That's the way to go. I haven't started a petition to have this national, but I did make a petition to have more sustainable packaging in LA. But some restaurants get it, some just they don't. It doesn't make sense in every situation, but sometimes it does. Mm. Yesterday, I'm trying to watch YouTube, and this black man came on the screen. I don't know. I paid for ad blockers, so I don't know how he got on. Anyway, he was talking about Proposition 50 and whatever. And then I realized, it's the president. And, of course, I felt really weird because President Obama was on the screen and I'm naked. So I don't know why President Obama would be on the screen while I'm naked, but YouTube is funny that way. And YouTube, even though I paid for a subscription so I wouldn't have any ads, and all of a sudden I have President Obama in front of me naked. No, he's not naked. I'm naked. He's wearing clothes. President Obama wears clothes. I don't, because I love my body, so I don't feel the need to. But he was talking about this Proposition 50, and I was only half listening because I'm just so sick and tired of it. Oh, that's cute. Hello there, Fred. Mm. I'm sick and tired of the political ads because they just don't make sense. He was trying to tell people in California, watch out, the Republicans are coming for you. All I can say is, where? Just where? People don't understand how the world works. They don't understand how this country works. Sure, there's a larger economy, a larger country, but for the most part, you live in a state. And when you live in a state, probably live in a city. When you live in a city, you probably live in a town of that city. And then you have your house, or you have your room, or you have your apartment. That's it. So why do I have I'm sorry, let me be politically correct, half black, half white, former President Obama trying to tell me about Republicans in California when where in doing what? I have PTSD. My life is a living nightmare. Living nightmare. Everything is too loud. Everything is annoying. Everything is difficult. Has nothing to do with Republicans whatsoever. Nothing. Smoothie break. Mm. They do whatever they do somewhere in California. They just don't affect me. And even if they did, don't you live in California too? Don't you have a voice? I have PTSD from military sexual trauma, where Master Sergeant Miranda of the United States Air Force sexually abused me, and that sent me to the hospital. So, because of that, I don't like any women near me. I don't like women around me. I don't like women behind me. I don't like women that just pop out of nowhere. Freaks me out. No, she was a female master sergeant. She rose up the ranks of the United States Air Force, doing who knows what. But she chose or was ordered to sexually abuse me. And I still look back at that moment and I say, really, you tarnish your whole career for what? For that? That's ridiculous. I don't even understand it. Because up until that point, we were cordial to one another. And because of that incident, everything is tainted now. Everything. It's like I'm enjoying a smoothie right now, but if I go outside and a woman talks to me, I freak out. I had like the manager of a restaurant ask for my phone number so I could wait to go be seated at a table, and that freaked me out. So I left. Spent like 10 minutes just screaming, "You can't have my phone number! You can't have my phone number!" Hmm. Brian, I have to explain it to you because people don't understand. America is a place where immigrants live. Immigrants live. America is an immigrant nation. Unlike maybe England or France or somewhere where there were people there, people had to cross boats. I'm sorry, but that had to cross boats. This just the whole ocean was full of boats. Oh my god! I'm getting up there if I say shit like that. Smoothie break. Mm. I think I'll be a bit more succinct. The military isn't hiring everybody. They hire the best of the best, they train them, and then they release them back into the wild to the chagrin of the civilians. So I had to go through a lot of security checks, but despite the fact that I sound like Downton Abbey, at least the downstairs part, I served. I should because of my father and grandfather, but I never really did the paperwork or anything or even tried. So there's that. I have a big decision to make. I have a huge, huge decision to make. I could stay in America and fight for this country, which I do not like, or I could bugger off to the United Kingdom. where I belong. Probably because I'm a miserable old sod. I don't really talk to people. And when I talk to people, I don't feel the need to blend into them. See, that's what happens when you want to join a community. And when I grew up in America, something about it just seemed off. I mean, I still defend and love the country, but maybe it's because I got that melanin from being indigenous. So I am bound to this country, whether I like to admit it or not. I'm bound to America. And so I have to fight for this country, which I don't agree with. Hmm. Well, I would say that, my father, he cussed like a sailor. The litany of just foul expletives that came out of his mouth. I am tame by comparison. Tame. Now, this will just piss everybody off. I was born in the United States of America. But unfortunately, America and I just didn't mix well at all. I grew up bullied, horribly bullied, mostly because I am LGBTQIA. And since I am older, I grew up before Will and Grace. I grew up before Queer as Folk, before Love, Victor, Love Simon. I'm before all of that. I was in the dark ages where they were just peeking out of the AIDS crisis. So you had a lot of ill-informed, horrible heterosexual people who thought that the gay, effeminate, flamboyant musician was spreading disease or just annoying the fuck out of them by being alive. And that attitude that they had of constantly harassing me, abusing me, physically attacking me, just made me say, I like my culture. I like being a half-bred alien. Bro, you ain't no American. I'm more American than you, fucker. I am indigenous on both sides. So this land belongs to me. It doesn't really belong to you. Doesn't really belong to anyone. But I have more of a claim here. I have a claim to America. And I would fight you in court over that. I don't know. People talk about citizenship like it really matters or anything. It really doesn't. I think it matters more whether or not you have money or you have health or a happiness. But people want to talk about citizenship like it means anything. And how do people not know that there are people other than Americans in America when America isn't just Americans? There's no such thing. There really isn't. Like everyone here came from somewhere else. Even the indigenous people who I feel do have a claim to this area, they hitchhiked pretty much to get here. They had to cross an ice bridge to get here, but that's what happened. I'm a white, cis, heterosexual Christian. Well, good for you. Those are the best in bed for gay men. I'm just saying. You can praise the Lord. You can pray any way you want. Huh. If I didn't know better, I swear I'm eating cafeteria food from high school. Oh well. For the amount I paid, it might as well be. Hmm. I have a huge decision to make. Again, I'm leaving Los Angeles, but where do I go from here? I could go to San Francisco and try, try to maybe connect with my LGBTQIA, or I could just abandon them and go follow my roots as a magician. I don't believe in the pronoun stuff. I don't have pronouns. Yeah, you do. Even he, him is a pronoun. Grind. Thank you for the facts there. Welcome to the revolution, by the way. Native Americans came over from Siberia, the Bering Ice Bridge to America like 60,000 years ago, so they have a strong claim in America. So, yeah, so I'm Aztec and Mayan on my father's side, and I am Catawba, and I guess that would be Cherokee on my mother's side. But combine the both of them, you get an Asian, because my sister came out Asian, and I just have chi energy. Got that big chi energy. Smoothie break. Mm. But yeah, I'm indigenous on both sides, and I got some white. I got some white from my mother's side and my father's side. So I am a very, very mixed, confusing person. I'm sorry, but the way you put that is hilarious. Oh, that's brilliant. Okay, I'm gonna read that out loud because I love this just the sound of it. I'm just straight British accent. That's my blood. Straight British accent. Um, is that the title of the porn you started in? Straight British accent. Yay. All right. I'm a he, but my pronouns ain't he him because I don't do pronouns. Well, technically, you don't really need pronouns if you just say the person's name, and it's a way to distance yourself from who you're talking about. I don't know. It's a very English thing, and but when you study other languages, you sometimes you just wonder why they had to do that. I don't do names. Well, you can wear blindfold too to maintain your anonymity. You do you. I mean, I've got my two service animals, but there's part of me that just says, as much as I need them, I also need the ability to just shut myself off completely from other people sometimes. I don't know. It's just a difficult decision to make because it's almost like the only equivalence that I can give to people is when you have children and you say to yourself, well, yeah, but I mean, I want to, go on tour or something like that, or spend 16 hours on a set. It's not really, time to be with your kids. It's not, a lifestyle for that. But then if you chose that lifestyle and you also chose to have a kid, then like why wouldn't you just incorporate all of that? I mean, if your kid is going to be your kid, shouldn't they know what you do? I mean, it's not as if there isn't room in my life for these dogs. There's no one in my life. I'm so single and available. Smoothie break. No, when there's a transgender person, I didn't like to use their pronouns because I'm not gay, if that makes sense. Are you an LGBT? There's a rainbow flag right there. You've been staring at a rainbow flag and you asked me that. I can't even. I can't even. And plus, you're watching me suck on this bamboo straw. Come on. What do you think? What do you think? I'm fabulous. I got myself sparkly earrings. Like, what do you think? I mean, honestly, do I have to show off the dildos and the sex toys that I have? Like, god damn it. I thought you were a white cis Christian too. I'm sorry to disappoint. Hail Satan. No, don't show those. Jesus, forgive me. Well, if you get down on your knees, Jesus may not forgive you, but I'll splash your face with something. Guaranteed. Come on, dude. Really? At that point, I just have to say you're having fun with me, but I don't mind. Mm. I'm strictly on YouTube to have fun. Jesus, fill me with your love. Oh my god, you got it bad, dude. Mm. You want Jesus to fill you? The Lord comes in many forms. How may he fill you? Wow. Wow. You guys are geniuses. You know I needed this. You know I needed this because I've just been having a really, really shit day. My poor dog is he just always has tummy upsets and he's super young, so I know eventually he'll grow out of it. But for right now, God, I really devoured that. For right now, he's just upset, so I get upset, and he doesn't do crowds at all. So there's that. Mm. I do love my dogs, and I don't know. Something tells me that I would go to Europe and I'd just be malnourished. Mm. What other accents can you do? British, and then what else? What's your normal accent like? Well, this is my standard accent, I guess, because the only friends I had growing up were Irish or Australian. I somehow seesaw between the three, between British, Irish, and Australian, because those were the only people I really talked to. So, yeah. Of course, I'm a communist, so I wouldn't vote for Stalin, but I did vote for Trump in a previous election. I didn't vote in the past one because I just said, "What's the point? What is the point?" Because at that time, I didn't have my VA benefits, so life was like super, super different. Because you just when you're poor, you don't think about politics as something that you can be a part of, which sucks because you get shit on a lot, kinky, um, by not representing yourself in politics, not speaking up, not making changes in your life. Excuse me. Bro, you didn't vote for no Trump. I didn't vote for Trump, but I still support him. He's a fabulous president. I say fabulous. Yeah, he's brilliant at what he's doing because he's dismantling the American government. He's an outsider that came in and said, none of you bitches are doing anything for America. So you're fired, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. You cut your budget. He even cut the budget for VA loans because veterans have been shafted by that veteran loan program because everyone says, "Oh, thank goodness you gave me a house." It's like, yeah, they gave you a house so you can be stuck next to these nasty ass people, civilians. I'm sorry. The military did me wrong, very wrong, and I hate you for it. But I really don't like civilians either. So I'm just in this weird nebulous zone, veteran, where you're not active duty military, but you're not going to be a regular citizen. whatsoever. And that's kind of one of the things that I want to fight. If I stayed, if I stayed, I don't want to stay. I don't want to stay because, if I stay, then that means I'm fighting for this country, which I don't really like. And I fight pretty hard. So, yeah, that's going to suck. Why are you supporting Trump? I think I just said it, but I'll say it again. I support Trump because, number one, I don't agree per se with the grab him by the pussy thing because I have been sexually abused. So I don't really agree with that statement. But I'd rather have a president who says, my dick gets hard. I'd rather have a president say, I have sex. I'd rather have a president say, I fucked that porn star. Did you? That is who I want to be my leader. And maybe it's the alpha reaching out to an alpha, but that's what I want. I want a president who says, no, Putin, get in the fuck in my room. I want to talk to you. I want that. I don't want politeness. I don't want anything. I want President Trump. He's an asshole sometimes, but he's my asshole. He's my American asshole who is fighting for you. I shouldn't call the president an asshole. An inglorious bastard. How about that? Because you hate him, because you wish you were him. You wish you had the balls to, go through the bureaucracy and cut through it and just say, EPA, go suck a dick. I say this as an environmentalist. The EPA should just be disbanded. Why? Because they don't do enough. They don't do enough because it's a government agency that people just see as a paper facade. They have a nice stationery, but when it comes to enforcing any of the regulations, they don't do it enough. I had a battery fire here in Los Angeles, and all I could say is they didn't decommission the battery factory correctly. So that chemical fire that they allowed to happen in California is because the EPA wasn't doing their job. And you say, well, they didn't have enough people. They didn't have enough people. It's like, no, no, no. You didn't have the right people. And you're not doing your job. So when the Trump says no budget for you, when they say that, you have to say, well, yeah, because this should always be a California issue. Like, who asked these questions? Do you ask these questions? This is why I like this president, because when you dismantle the government, you realize, fuck, who's in charge? When the government shuts down, who is in charge? Is it you? Do you have a plan? Are you supposed to step up and do something? Because as much as Obama is trying to scare you, like, it kind of reminded me of like when you're a baby and your mother like does raspberries on your stomach. A little of that. A little of that. And it's scary and you're laughing because it tickles and it's just that's what President Obama's doing on camera to a bunch of stupid citizens who say, oh yes, the Republicans will take over. It's like, what were you doing then? What were you doing? Uh Anger 3667. I'm gonna call you 3667. Okay. Welcome to the channel, anyone who's still here. Go Mega. Whoops. Never mind. The Republicans aren't wrong on everything. People give them a bad rap because they have shitty ways of talking about things. When they talk about immigration, they have a point. You should be a bit more discerning when it comes to immigration. You should be able to say, yeah, come through the country legally. Democrats can't fight that. They have to agree. That's something that you can do. You can vet these people before they come and have children here and then settle down here. You can just say, did you come here legally, and what the fuck are you doing here? And if you don't think that you can say that in this country, then we're not on the same page. Because I want to live in a country where you can say, hey, where did you come through and what are you doing here? Because the Latinos aren't really talking about, and not just Latinos, Muslim people come over here, Indian people come over here, Asian people come over here, white people come over here, a lot of people come over here. Why aren't we asking questions of any of them? Because you ask at the airport, oh, you're flying to this area, is it business, pleasure, why are you flying over here? Oh god, I put my chat filter in all messages and the chat is wild and I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I can't really consider myself a Democrat or a Republican. I'm an independent. Because when you're an independent, you realize that both sides are the same people. Both sides are the same people. But you're different. I think I said it in an earlier podcast, but I'll say it again. There are 50 stars on the American flag. 50. 50%. America is at 50%. No one talks about it. No one does anything about it. We live in an age with unlimited technology and it's only getting worse. That technology is shoving us toward hive mind. It's shoving us toward police state. So you have to ask yourself, do you want to still be in America with that going on? Even in a police state, guided by certain rules and safety checks, you might be able to build something better. When you live in a world where you don't have people running up to women and snatching their purses, you consider that a win. When you live in a world where you don't need a purse, or if it is snatched, you just say, well, I'll just go to my 3D printer and just make another, or I'll buy another, I'll replace everything in it, I'll cancel all the credit cards. I think that's a better win. I do hate California. I do. I do because they are all about their fucking hive mind. They are all about Join us. Join us. Slow down and join us. I mean, let's talk about some operant conditioning here. So, I mean, it's a lot of avoidance therapy or just exposure therapy. It's exposure therapy and then reward because I went to Starbucks and my PTSD levels were just fucking through the roof. But as I was walking out, this huge, delicious, hairy bear said good morning to me and how are you? And I was just like, fuck yeah, I'm better now. You know, showing off my fucking hotness. And that was all. And I was like, oh, that is so fucking delicious. Delicious. Because, he was a big bear, but he wasn't fat. That you see, that's the thing. When it comes to bears, there has to be a level of muscle. Otherwise, you're just a sex pig. And there's room for that in, the LGBTQIA, just not in my bedroom. You break the bed, you have to buy me another one. But yeah, big delicious bear right after the horror, which was going to Starbucks. And it just makes me think, they do that a lot here. They do that a lot. Because when I went to a restaurant to eat, it was women who brought me food, men who took it away. But the men who took it away were just hot and delicious. Hot and delicious. And then when I went back to the restaurant today, it was like a united front of women, like right at the front of the place. And it's just it can all be about me and my PTSD, but I have PTSD, so my brain is forever warped. Forever warped. Oh well. 7 EBAS, I'm a communist, United Soviet States of America. Why does it have to be Soviet? Can it be American? Because America is a socialist country. They just don't call it that. When you're on Social Security, you're a socialist. It's like, I cash my Social Security check and I hate communism. It's like, are you sure about that, dude? Are you sure? Because the government literally pays you to, tickle your fanny while these fucking people do day labor. So that's socialism. I'm a veteran. So technically the government tickled my fanny. I don't have a fanny. What am I saying? Smoothie break, smoothie break. But no, I'm too wacky, I'm too crazy to fucking work. So that's all. United Soviet States of America. You shouldn't say that. You shouldn't say that. I don't want Russian imperialism in America. I don't want foreign rule in America. What I do want is state rights. I hate LA, but I'm beginning to love California because what can I say? As much as they're like, please, please join us, join us, join us, join us, they're also saying, look around you, dude. Look around you really at the bullshit that the rest of the country is going through. I lived in New York for a long, long time. I lived through people flying planes into buildings. I've lived through people trying to blow up their sneakers in Times Squares. I'm people driving on the sidewalk, plowing through people. I've lived through a lot happening in that area. A lot. And now I've moved to California and thankfully moved out of that fucking ghetto that I was in, that the VA put me in, because I don't know what the VA was thinking when they put me there, because all it did was just make it that much more difficult for me to connect with my own people. And now that I have my benefits, fucking just terrible, because I'll never truly connect with my own people. Well, money makes you more white. It's just the case. I mean, here I am rocking my bandana as a communist and, my Canada hat. But I live my life. I literally live my life. I don't truly have to worry about more than women playing peekaboo with me. Something I don't like. I don't like a bunch of women playing peekaboo with me, but because I'm not playing, it just creeps me out. But that's all. State rights. California has the right to do its own thing for the most part. It's going to continue doing its own thing. It's going to continue to attract people who see common sense, but they don't see common sense when it comes to the smog. And that worries me. It worries me that I had to tell the poor cashier, do not give me a plastic straw in 2025. It just bothers me on a base level that I still cannot live in a world where the environment matters to people. I almost broke down and cried in that Starbucks because they had water bottles like right in the front of their establishment, because I said that just invites people to purchase it and then chuck it on the ground, because that's what they do here. They don't appreciate it. They don't read the labels and say, this was taken from this sacred fountain blessed by fairies and a unicorn dipped their horn over it. They don't fucking care. They just say guzzle, 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 and then they throw it on the ground. And I just lost it there for a second. I just said, that just invites people to litter. And I almost cried, because I live in a nice, clean neighborhood, except every once in a while you just see plastic bottles here, plastic bottles there, and you just say, why? Why? Why are people so selfish? I won't even say lazy, because it's selfish to litter. So I have some thinking to do, some thinking. I mean, if I don't fight for America, then who will? Because right now, no one's fighting. You're letting a former president tell you who to fight and how to fight instead of just fighting for your country. I don't agree with that. So I'll have to dig deep in my half British heart to find a way to love this country enough to fight for it. I'll keep searching in my heart. Somewhere, there's an inch of me, 9, 10 inches of me that might care about saving America. If you'd like to receive those 10 inches, let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. My name is IanXIlyana. I am an environmentalist, a human rights activist, LGBTQIA icon, musician, PTSD survivor. I'm a veteran. I own Mars Now, the space agency, which will be hiring as of November 1st. I guess if I go to San Francisco, I might actually have to do a little job fair for people because I disagree with how the country's run. I mean, I guess I am more of a socialist communist than a Democrat or a Republican because it just makes sense. I don't agree with, the maybe living on the commune thing. I'm more of the like Apple or Google. What the fuck do you think they are? Bunch of employees and shareholders just in their own space doing their own thing. Know your country, people. Know your country. That's the future. You let two corporations pretty much own their little fiefdom, but you say to yourselves, no, no, the city will get better. the city, the city that's falling apart, the city that can afford to repair bridges, can afford to repair roads, or get textbooks for schools. No, no. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with any of that. I really think that the only thing to do is to start something new right here and just say, don't you have a right to start over? Don't you have a right to see what your potential is? If you didn't have to worry about things like electric bills because it's solar powered, everything is solar powered. You didn't have to pay for rent because it's subsidized. It's a building. You sleep in it. You don't pay rent on it. Why would you pay rent on essentially a decorated cardboard box? You think homeless people live in cardboard boxes? No, we all do. That's what these four walls are. And once again, my favorite company of Marvel. I saw Thunderbolts Asterisk, the new Avengers. Shame rooms. Wow. It's so powerful when good writing just transcends the screen. The whole idea that The world is so off-putting, I guess is the best way to put it, that we huddle in these little boxes that we call apartments or houses instead of just living in the world. I don't agree with that. I really don't. Which is why I've resolved to never, never, never rent a place again and to just keep traveling, keep moving, keep educating people. If you truly believe that you can make a difference, you just make a difference. Hope to see you on the next podcast.